Whenever the Eagles have a really good season, it's never because of the Eagles, right? Last year, I discussed this ad nauseum, right? Last season, the Eagles had the best record in the conference. They went 14-3. And the one thing that people said about us all season was the fact that they said, you didn't beat anybody. You didn't beat anybody. Even though the Eagles had, by the end of the season, they had defeated like 8 teams with a winning record. But apparently that wasn't good enough. Apparently they weren't good enough teams with winning records. And I believe that the Eagles had defeated like 1 or 2 playoff teams. Not that many playoff teams, but they beat a lot of teams with 9 wins or more by the end of the season. They beat quite a few of them. And that's what everybody said. And my whole message was this, right? I said, it doesn't matter if the Eagles beat the 2007 Patriots, the 1972 Miami Dolphins, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens. It doesn't matter if the Eagles beat those teams. We're still never going to get our credit. We're still going to be told there's something wrong with the Eagles. Right? And now I can come out and say that there are plenty of things wrong with the Eagles. Right? I listed them in the previous video. I've been listing them all season. But they look at that 10-1 record and they say, worst 10-1 team ever. Right? Last season they said, oh, the 2022 Eagles are the 2021 Cardinals and the 2020 Steelers because they haven't beaten anybody good. Right? They're going to be one and done in the playoffs. And they went to the Super Bowl. They were again, I said this before. They were more like the 2016 Falcons than those other 2 teams. But now that the Philadelphia Eagles they beat the Dolphins, who the Dolphins are 8-3. The Eagles have beaten the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 8-3. Right? Well, this time we beat them with Dak Prescott, right? No more of this. Well, you beat us with a backup quarterback. The Eagles actually beat the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. Okay? And this is the same Cowboys team that blows out all their opponents. So you can't say he sucks. Okay? They beat the Chiefs, the 8-3 Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes, the future Hall of Fame quarterback, the Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time MVP, or 3, I don't know how many times he's been MVP. It's not important. And then we beat the Bills with Josh Allen. Now, the Bills aren't, again, they're not a winning football team in terms of their record, but I expect them to be by the end of the season. So now what's happened? What's happened is not, look, we think that the Eagles are a pretty good team. We think that the Eagles are a solid team. We think that the Eagles are a team to be reckoned with. No, that's not what's being said. What is being said by the teams that detract us is you're not blowing out your opponents enough. Okay. I mean, that's true. But how does that matter? Oh, well, coming back to win consistently, that's not something that you can continue to do on and on and on throughout the season and in the playoffs. Okay. Oh, you constantly get bailed out by the refs. Okay. The funniest part about that argument, right? The last argument, right? Is the fact that the officials are trash. I've always said that they were trash. But if you even look at this game right here, if you even look at our last game, right? If you even look at the game before that against Dallas, you would see that the refs missed calls on both sides. You would, if the referees were truly for the Philadelphia Eagles all throughout. And they were on our side. They wore our colors. They congratulated us at the end. Wouldn't we have gotten no penalties? Like none at all. Why would they call the Philadelphia Eagles on a roughing the passer call against Josh Allen? Why did that even happen if the refs are for us? Oh, well, they don't want to make it obvious. Well, they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to do it, even though it was a roughing the passer call. It was a bad play made by, what was it, Brandon Graham. He ran right into him. You can't do that. So riddle me that. Riddle me that. You know, I already called it. I already said that no matter what happens, people aren't going to give the Eagles credit. This is why I don't get in arguments with people on social media, right? I just let them cope. Because here's what's happened, right? The majority of people who are saying this stuff about the Eagles, and that still are, they're Dallas fans. Dallas fans. Hey, where are your wins against winning teams? Now, again, not that that matters, but did you guys conveniently forget that was your biggest crutch against us last season? Now, again, like, you think that the Cowboys are better than the Eagles, that's perfectly fine, right? The Dallas Cowboys have blown out most of their opponents. The Dallas Cowboys are a good team. The Dallas Cowboys have a really good defense. And Dak Prescott has, he's cut his turnover totals almost in half. So he's playing very well. He's a well-oiled machine. There is a reason why Dak Prescott is my fantasy quarterback. There is a reason why the Dallas defense is my fantasy defense. Because week in and week out, they get it done. I don't have a problem with saying that. I don't have a problem with saying that Dallas has played better than the Eagles. But at the end of the day, right, like, if you can't even give the Eagles their credit, what am I even going to say to even discuss this topic? Do I really care that the Cowboys haven't beaten a team with a winning record? Not really, right? I'm focused on my next opponents, who one of the best defenses in the NFL, up-and-coming quarterback to a well-established team that the Eagles struggle against, haven't beaten the Cowboys in Dallas since 2017, since before the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Okay? That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about what another team is doing. Okay? I'm definitely not about to get in arguments with them because I know that the outcome is going to be, hey, I think your team is not good because you haven't been blowing out teams. Okay. But what am I going to say about that? You know what I'm saying? I know that you're never going to give the Eagles credit, and that's fine, right? You have your opinion, and I have the ability to not entertain it as much. I've entertained it enough, right? I know that there are teams in the NFL who are biting at their heels so that they can try to beat us. I get it. I know that there are fans on social media who try to push narratives because it makes them feel like that they're better. I know that. This is a thing that happens. But at the end of the day, my team has beaten all but one team on their schedule. We can only play the teams on our schedule. Some teams are really good at blowing out other teams. Some teams aren't. Is that something? Are the Eagles always going to be able to come back and win these games? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But I'm happy that the team won, and I can also, on the other hand, criticize the negative things that they're doing, right? If you're mad about the refs, bro, like, they miss calls all the time. Do I like winning because the refs are favoring my team? No. Do I know that that's happening? No. Because my team still continues to get penalties called on them. In the second half, the Philadelphia Eagles had like 5 penalties, and the Bills only had 1. Does that mean that the refs were on the Bills' side? How about this, right? Don't commit penalties, right? That's how you won't have the refs throwing the flag.